Hello everyone! Welcome to my channel. Welcome to today's video. Today's video is going to be a foundation review and wear test, and I'm going to be talking about this foundation here. This is the Colourpop Pretty Fresh Tinted Foundation Balm. Foundation sticks have been popping up here, there, everywhere. I mean, we can't seem to get enough of them, myself included, and this one really intrigued me. So in today's video, I will be pulling you in closer, applying this foundation nice up close and personal, doing a check-in outside in natural daylight about halfway through my day, inserting in some swatches, comparing the shade that I have, which is light 6, to some other shades in my collection, then coming back at the very end of my day, 8, 10, 12 hours later, and just giving my overall first impression thoughts. So if that sounds good to you, make sure you give this video a thumbs up. Subscribe if you haven't yet. I would love it if you stuck around, but with all that, I'm gonna pull you in closer and we're gonna get started. All right, I am ready to put this foundation on. I'm hoping it kind of just wakes me up a little bit because I am struggling today. So here is what the foundation stick looks like. I did pick up the shade Light 6. It comes in 18 different shades, retails for $14. I don't think that's terrible, but instantly this reminded me of the Milani foundation stick that recently came out. And I believe it's about the same price, and I would say that the Milani packaging feels a little bit more luxe than this. That's all right, though. I'm not going to complain. I think it's fine. It doesn't feel cheap, but it doesn't feel like there was a lot of thought put into it. So this is supposed to be a light to medium buildable coverage, which is my preference in a foundation with a second skin finish. We're seeing a lot of brands, I'm noticing a lot of brands saying second skin finish. I'm assuming that's supposed to be a natural finish, which again is my preference. That's why I wanted to pick this up. Now, as far as my skin type, you already heard my preferences, but I do have normal leaning dry skin. And I can get like oily in my T-zone. My concerns are kind of more like enlarged pores here. Yes, I have some redness and discoloration. I don't think anything really extreme where it's like a concern, but I like to even out my skin tone a little bit, especially like under my eyes here. But my skin is skin, and that's the answer to that. Now, if you're new to my foundation reviews, the first time that I try out a foundation, I don't go in with any kind of primer. So I only have my skincare and SPF. That's it. And we're just going to get to applying this. Now, like I said, this kind of reminded me, the shade's pretty good, of the Milani. I don't know why, but then when I actually got this, I realized it does have more hydrating claims than the Milani. The Milani claims to be a lot more blurring. This does also claim to be blurring, but that's not like its main call out. Its main call out is that it's hydrating, that it's skincare infused, and those kinds of things. And I'm just gonna apply it. It does say to use your fingers or a brush. I realistically am not going to use my fingers, so I'm gonna test it with a brush. If I feel like after today, I need to go back in and test it with my fingers and see if that is better, I will. I do always come back, do like a foundation roundup after I've tested a few foundations, which after this one, after I fully test this one, I think I have enough foundations to kind of do that. But for now, like realistically, I'm going to use a brush. So I would use actually a sponge, but it doesn't say to use a sponge. It says to use fingers or brush. And I would use a brush over my fingers. So that's how I'm going to try it. It actually looks really nice. I would agree it's light leaning medium. It's like a heavy light, a light medium. Right on that border. It blended super easy. It doesn't feel like anything. I would agree that it's really lightweight. Like I said, it does claim to be hydrating with skincare, so it's supposed to have niacinamide, hyaluronic acid, all of those things that is pretty typical with a foundation now. I don't think at this point it's kind of a call out. Now it is supposed to be buildable. I don't know if I want to test that. Maybe I will just like a little bit on my nose here. Usually I go in with my NARS Soft Matte Concealer before my foundation and kind of just get the redness out a little bit more. But since I'm doing this foundation test, I'm not doing that. I don't know how much that actually built, but it does look nice. It looks really nice. The shade match is like perfect. I've been having some dryness around my nose, like right in this crease. I can definitely see it there. It does not call out what type of skin this is best suited for. Just have to wait and see, but it is very slightly clinging to the corners of my nose, just a little bit. The rest of this, it looks really nice, like really on my pores. It looks really good. I'm liking this a lot. Okay, that was quick and easy. I don't want to just keep blending because that's what I tend to do. So I am going to go off camera, apply the rest of my makeup, and then I'll be back to just give you my first impression thoughts after it's kind of settled into my skin and everything. Rest of my makeup is on. As far as what could affect the foundation, I did apply concealer. I did powder that concealer. So the only powder, like setting powder that I have is under my eyes. And then I have powder products on my cheeks. I did opt to not powder my face overall because I just don't think that it needs it. It feels really set down and it does look very fresh on the skin. I'm liking that a lot. So I didn't really want to mess with it. And I also didn't use any kind of setting spray because for me, when I use a setting spray, it's more to take down that powdery finish. And since I didn't go in with a powder, I don't really think that I needed to do that. I think my skin looks really nice. I'm very happy with the coverage. It just looks light and fresh. Exactly. I mean, like, I hate to say that because it's called the Pretty Fresh Foundation, but it does. It gives enough coverage where I feel really confident, but I don't feel like I'm wearing a mask on my face. I'm really enjoying this. And I almost think that this is more blurring than the Milani. My pores look exceptional right now. I'm a little bit stunned, because this is the last foundation that I wanted to try before doing my roundup. I kind of have been thinking about my ranking in my head, and I didn't think this was gonna rank very high, but now I'm just like, I'm a little bit thrown for a loop because I don't know where I'm going to put this. Of course, I have to test it more. We're gonna see what the rest of the day brings, how much my natural oils kind of come through on my T-zone, because I do get quite shiny. So we'll see if it breaks the foundation apart, or if it just kind of naturally wears down. That's always very interesting to me. I like to see how that goes. But so far, this is it's like a top contender for me. I'm very surprised. I haven't tried any other Colourpop foundations. I don't think. This is like my first complexion product from Colourpop. Well, I used to have the concealer, but like an actual foundation. So I am going to go on the rest of my day, try to get myself motivated to do some things. My list is a mile long, but I don't want to do any of it. So we're going to try and get myself into gear, maybe have a second cup of coffee, but I will check in with you all in about 4 hours outside in natural daylight.
All right, here we are. It's been 4 hours. I'm outside. Clearly, it's a little bit windy out, but overall pretty sunny. Have I done as much as I needed to? No, but I have done a little bit. Let's talk about the foundation though. It's looking really, really nice. My pores still look pretty blurred. I'm a little bit shiny, like more on my chin. Of course, the wind's gonna pick up. A little bit shiny on my chin, but that's about it. I think it looks really nice, especially for not powdering. The kind of nose crevasse is still looking better. It doesn't look as dry as it did when I first applied it, so my oils definitely kind of melded and meshed into this foundation a little bit. Overall, I'm really happy. This is far exceeding my expectations. I'm very surprised by how much I'm liking this so far. I was thinking the Milani was going to blow this out of the water because I really enjoy that foundation stick. And this is kind of beating it. It's just a little bit more hydrating. I don't know. We'll see where the next 4 hours takes us, but I'm going to insert in my swatches right about now, and I will see you in another 4 or 5 hours for my final thoughts.
It's the end of the night. It's been maybe 9 hours or so. It's starting to get real chilly outside. The sun is no longer there, but here is what the foundation's looking like. And I have to say, I am really, really impressed. It started off strong, it ended strong. I have not a lot of my oils coming through. I'm a little bit shiny, but honestly, like normally it's a lot worse. I was not anticipating this to hold the oils back so much, especially when it claims to be hydrating. That's not something normally a hydrating foundation would do. I'm gonna blot just a little bit, but I really don't need to. It is going to be tough doing my foundation roundup because I've had just really good foundations this past round. And I don't know, I'm a little bit speechless because it just really exceeded my expectations. What I love the most about this is my pores look like non-existent. My pores look like they did when I was in my 20s. I can't believe like how good my pores look. So I would wear this again. The shade is perfect for me. Again, I got light 6. So if you're close to my skin tone, I think this is pretty much a spot on shade match. My cheek products have stayed. I didn't even powder this foundation, and I'm going to test it with powder just because I'm curious to see how it would work with powder, but I don't think you need to. Maybe if you have oily skin, you would want to use powder to really just lock it in. But if you have normal skin or dry skin, I don't think you need to powder because it really does self-set. My skin didn't even feel oily, even though it was really shiny. It still felt really set and it felt really lightweight. The coverage has disappeared a little bit, mostly around my nose. I think that that's typical on my chin here. For wearing it for 9 hours, it looks fantastic. I mean, this rivals the Maybelline, honestly, because I said like run out and get that foundation. I reviewed the new Superstay Lumi Matte. I'll link that one up above. I don't say that often, like run out, go get a foundation. I think there's a lot of really good foundations out on the market. But if you want a stick foundation, this might be the best stick foundation that I've tried. And I don't say that lightly. I very much enjoy this a lot more than I was anticipating. It kind of makes me want to try the other Colourpop foundations that are in their line, like the normal liquid concealer. I'm not going to because I have more than enough foundations in my collection, but I'm a little bit curious. I would love to know if you've tried this foundation, what skin type you have, if you like it as much as I do right now. Of course, this is a first impression. I'll be coming back to kind of rank this against the other foundations that I've tried recently. I have the ABH, the Givenchy, I have the Huda Beauty Easy Blur that I did. There's quite a few that I've done recently, the Ordinary Serum Foundation, and a lot of them have been good. And this one's throwing me for a loop because right now this is like top 3 is where I'm kind of putting this. But I do want to test it more. I want to try it with a primer. I want to try it with powder, try it with some other things. I do want to maybe try it with my fingers because that is the way that they recommend applying it. They say if you want to use a brush, you can, which is obviously what I did today. I'm speechless. This is really all I have to say. The proof is in the pudding. You've seen the footage from beginning to end, and it looks really, really good for me. This is exactly the type of foundation that I like. A light to medium buildable coverage with a natural finish. It's not too glowy. It's not too matte. My skin looks really fresh and just healthy, but in the best way possible. No complaints, zero complaints. I can't think of one con to this. So that's where I'm going to leave this. Like I said, let me know if you've tried this, if you love it as much as I do. If you don't, let us know your skin type. We're all different. We all like and want different things. If you like a full coverage foundation, you might not like this. I don't know. So let us know down below so we can all help each other out. But this is where I'm going to leave you all. I hope you're having a great day. I hope the swatches were helpful, the review was helpful, and I will see you in my next video. Bye, everyone.